It's the Daily Doug.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Daily Doug. Thanks for being with me today. I am excited to bring you today's episode because I'm going back to my roots a little bit, y'all. I am from the middle of the United States. I was brought up on country music, and we don't do much country here on the channel. But today, it's Thanksgiving week. I wanted to get back to my roots a little bit and review a classic country song that has been a hit, a big hit for two different performers, and the sounds of these versions of the song are very different, and I want to break them down with you all. The song is Tennessee Whiskey, and we're going to have some fun today. So this song is known by most people today as a soulful ballad by Chris Stapleton. And why not? It's been a big hit for him, but he wasn't the one who originally made this song famous. It was actually written by two songwriters, Dean Dillon and Linda Hargrove. Professional songwriters, country musicians. They wrote it in 1981 after they had been at the same cafe in Nashville, and they had the idea for the song, and so they went back to Hargrove's house and they wrote the song that night. And they ended up shopping it around to several country singers who were popular at the time. And it first got picked up by David Allan Coe. Now, David hasn't been active for a long time. I remember hearing some of his music as a kid, especially on my grandparents' radio. David Allan Coe recorded it first for his album that he ended up calling Tennessee Whiskey. It was a title track of his album from 1981, and the song ended up and the album ended up doing just okay on the Billboard charts. I think it charted, but it was pretty close to like just barely getting into the top 100. So a few years later, George Jones comes along, and George records it for his album Shine On. Now, this album was part of George's major comeback to country music in the early 80s. This album was his sixth album in just 3 years. And he had number one singles leading up to this and on this album. One of his number one singles was I Always Get Lucky With You, which was co-written by Merle Haggard. And then the title track, Shine On and Tennessee Whiskey, both ended up being top 5 hits for George Jones from this album. So let's first hear George's version, y'all, and be reminded of what this sounded like back in the day. I'm not going to play David Allan Coe's version along with this because they're very similar, and George's was a bigger hit. So let's go with George's and see what he has done with the classic song Tennessee Whiskey. Off we go.
I used to spend my nights out.
Here we go.
In a bar.
I used to spend my nights out in a bar room.
Liquor was the only love I'd known.
So it's done as a classic two-step. 1, 2, 1, 2.
For the bottom.
Now with a simple meter, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. It's a straightforward meter.
You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey.
And when they hit smooth, the percussion, light as it is, backs off even a little bit more.
Strawberry wine. You're as warm.
It's a 5-7-4 with a 4-chord B flat.
And I
stay stoned on your love all the time. It's just a simple love song. Actually, it's kind of these you make me want to be a better man style of love songs. Then up a half step.
In all the same old places.
Whoa.
Found the bottom.
It's not quite in tune. They're not quite tuned to where my keyboard is, so I'm just going to stay out of this one. But he moved up from F to F sharp.
I didn't waste it. 'cause there's nothing like your love to get me high. You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey.
Back to 1.
You're as sweet.
You can get your date out on the dance floor, do a nice little two-step, dance along to this classic country song.
You're as warm.
It's one of the hallmarks of classic country, the straightforward nature of the storytelling, the simpleness of the songwriting and delivery is what makes it special. And I stay stoned on your love all the time. Then they got a good old-fashioned 4-to-1 amen cadence at the end. Short little song. But yeah, that's George Jones's version of that. And so that was in 1983. Fast forward and enter Chris Stapleton. So Chris is originally from Kentucky, and he has made a career on performing his own music as well as writing songs for other prominent artists, including Kenny Chesney, George Strait, and Brad Paisley, as well as musicians that are outside the country music realm. He's had credits with Adele, Kelly Clarkson, and Taylor Swift, to name just a few major stars. So his debut album called Traveler was released in May of 2015, and Tennessee Whiskey is included on this album. The album would win many awards. It was a breakthrough album for Chris. It won the CMA Album of the Year and the Grammy for the Country Album of the Year in 2015. And I remember when I first became aware of Chris Stapleton, I remember seeing the performance that he did with Justin Timberlake at the CMA Awards at that show. I don't think I saw it live. I think I saw it on YouTube that somebody had posted. And I was really taken by it. It was really great. They did a mashup of Tennessee Whiskey as well as Justin's song, I Can't Drink You Away. And they just kind of put those two blues, kind of soulful versions of songs together with each other. And it was a wonderful performance. And I really took note. And I was not the only one to take notice, y'all, because the song and the album really took off after that. And it became the first debut country album to reach #1 in quite some time. This is a more bluesy, like I said, rendition and soulful, and I'm eager to show you just how different this is than George Jones's version. So let's go to Tennessee Whiskey, this time by Chris Stapleton. Off we go. So you'll notice a completely different feel. Different key. Different meter. This is still in 4, but it's in a swung 4, a shuffle 4.
Used to spend my nights out in ballroom. Liquor was the only love I'd known.
The lyrics are the same.
But you rescued me from reaching for the bottom.
It takes its time.
Me back, being too far gone. You're as smooth
This one's an A.
as Tennessee whiskey.
And they go to a second chord. It's either the 4 chord with an added 6 or a 2/7 chord. Great harmonies too.
You're as warm as a glass of brandy. And honey, I stay stoned on your love all the time.
Yeah, so he's an A.
I've looked for love in all the same old places.
2-7. B minor 7.
Down the bottom of the bottle's always dry.
Back to A.
But when you poured out your heart, I didn't waste it. 'Cause there's nothing like your love to get me high. And you're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey.
So it's either D with an added B,
You're as sweet
or it's just
as
B, D, F sharp, A. Just those two chords. And they have a cover of this classic song.
And honey, I stay stoned on your love all the time.
It's such an American song. Because it's a love song, but it's from the point of view of a guy who likes the drink, and he's comparing his lady to how his favorite drink makes him feel. Can't profess love in a more heartfelt way than comparing your lady to a spirit. Such an American thing.
Strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy. And honey, I stay stoned.
Part of the magic of this recording too is the harmony parts, right? That she's singing along with him.
You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey.
It's just got a warm feel to it.
Tennessee whiskey. Tennessee whiskey.
So, besides the A chord,
You're as smooth
you can go up to B
as Tennessee whiskey.
or a D in the bass. Either one, and this chord works.
Whiskey.
It's a D, an F sharp, an A, and a B.
Tennessee whiskey.
And there you go. A 1 chord and a 2-7 chord, and you got yourself a song. And it's so different from the George Jones version, right? Different type of meter, different type of feel, different everything, you know? It's not a 2-step anymore. Really, really amazing what you can do with a simple song that's pliable, and you can just move it into different areas. I saw a quote that Chris gave about how this cover version came about, and it's really interesting. He says that this has always been a favorite song of his, and that he had a show in Charlottesville, Virginia, and they were doing a sound check, and they were waiting around for all of the mics to get set up, and he and the guys in the band just started grooving a little bit, and they fell into this groove in A, and he started thinking, what could I sing over the top of this? This is fun. And he started, for whatever reason, singing Tennessee Whiskey. And at the time, they had a steel guitar player by the name of Steve Henson who used to play with George Jones on the road. And maybe that was part of the equation as to why he thought of singing this song. But he says that they decided to do the song that night and then every night since. And by the time that they got it into the studio, it was something that they all enjoyed playing. And it's become part of the fabric of things that moved his career forward, and it was a part of things that had influenced him over these years, and he was able to insert it right into his style, and it's in his first album, and a big star he has become. And in fact, his version of this song is much more famous now than the George Jones version was that came out 40 years ago ever achieved. And so you've got two versions of this classic song that don't sound much alike, but they've got the same lyrics, and it just shows you how you can move the musical elements around. Maybe I don't want to do a simple meter. I want to do a compound meter. Well, this key isn't working for me. My voice is in a different range, so I can move the key around. I can change the tempo around based on how I want to do it. And you end up adapting a really great song to your own musical sensibilities. That always works, especially if you have a real good sense of who you are as a musician. And obviously, Chris Stapleton knows what he's doing. So this has been really fun. Franz, obviously, I know both of the versions of this song. I know them well, but it's Thanksgiving week, and I wanted to do something a little bit different and share with you a classic country song, and so that's what I did. This has been Tennessee Whiskey, originally by David Allan Coe, right? We didn't even listen to that one, but made famous by George Jones, and then more recently made famous by Chris Stapleton. What a great tune, and I hope all of you have a great Thanksgiving. If you are observing the holiday, this has been a lot of fun. We'll see you next time, y'all, on another edition of The Daily Doug.